wherever you want to talk sports.
Now it's time for Monty in the Morning.
Hey, yo, man. It's Tuesday, October 19th, 2021. Hello, Jake.
Hello.
On the calendar, we are exactly 1 month away from opening day in Park City.
Let's go.
Love it. It is raining and snowing. Love it. And you need to subscribe to The Monty Show on YouTube. Just find us on the old YouTube machine. Google search The Monty Show, M-O-N-T-Y, The Monty Show. Or just go to themontyshow.com. Click that subscribe button. And when we get to 3,000 subs, we are going to give away this Xbox Series S 500 gigabytes of manpower.
Yeah.
All you have to do is take a picture that you're subscribed. Tag The Monty Show, M-O-N-T-Y, The Monty Show. Jake is SLC Supercars. Tag us on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. And at 3,000 subs, we're going to give this Xbox away, so hook that up. By the way, also while you're tagging us, you probably should follow us. Getting crazy. I have a TikTok post that's viral. It's got over 4.3 million views.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
By the way, in the midst of all of that, it is opening night in the NBA. So let's get right to work here on the Monty Show. It's finally over. What feels like one of the shortest off seasons it took forever to get through is finally over. And everybody is looking at the big teams like the Lakers and the Nets. Can the Nets win without Kyrie? Are the Lakers too old? Are the Utah Jazz still elite? With all of the changes that this roster went through, Jake, I'll pose the same question to you. Are the Utah Jazz still elite?
I mean, they're still a great team. Are they elite? I'm not going to say that they're amongst the elites in the NBA because I think that group of teams is very, very small. The elite groups in the NBA are the Nets, obviously the Bucks. You have to put them in there because they won a championship. And on paper, I think the Lakers, but I still have some reservations about the Lakers, and I just need to see them put it together. So for the Jazz, I think that the Jazz are a top 5 team in the West. I think the Jazz in their season is going to be largely defined by load management and injury prevention. I think the Jazz have to do a much better job of keeping their guys healthy because everybody, we all remember the conversations and they still come up, which is, hey, if we were healthy, we would have gone farther, or we would have beat the Clippers, or whatever the case may be. And so what I'm saying is top priority this year is to be healthy, like load manage Donovan, load manage Mike Conley, use Jingles the right way. You give Jared Butler, 25 minutes a night because he's earned that in the preseason. He's shown you what he can do. So are they still elite? No, I don't think they're elite by, by number 1 team in the West standards. No, I don't think they're that team. But I do think that they're a top 5 team in the West, depending on how all of this shakes out. One of the biggest question marks I have right now is the Phoenix Suns. What's going to happen with this Deandre Ayton situation? How does that play out as the season progresses? You go and you look at the Nuggets. Michael Porter Jr. won't get vaccinated, so he's not going to be available. You look at Jamal Murray coming off the ACL. What's he like? Then I look at the Warriors and I say, Klay Thompson's coming off of an ACL and Achilles. He's coming off of a lot of stuff. So what are the Warriors like? So I really think, right here today, are the Jazz an elite team? No, I don't think they're the best team in the West. I don't think they're a top 2 team in the West. They're a top 5 team in the West. That said, that can all change very quickly depending on who stays healthy and who doesn't. Obviously, we saw that last year. So that's what I would say about the Jazz.
Yeah, I wonder how much health changes. I mean, you have clearly more depth. The Jared Butler pick was highway robbery. I think that was clearly, in my opinion, that's the win of the offseason. Free agency be damned. I'm telling you that Jared Butler at 40, when you moved back to get him, to me seems like a home run. It feels like he can come in and contribute right now, which is obviously what this team needs. I mean, this team without Mike Conley was a vastly different basketball team. So, for me, I feel like the big win for the Jazz is, in fact, that, they have the horses now to actually leverage depth.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that's a big deal. And when I look at this Jazz team, obviously it so clearly rotates around Donovan Mitchell. But I'm interested to see this jump shot out of Rudy Gobert. Was that a preseason trick? Or is that something that he can do on a regular basis? Because I think it really opens up the paint offensively for the Jazz to do other things. I think that's a huge storyline. But again, we can have this conversation. We could talk about all these things. I think the biggest question for this Jazz team is, can they keep their top 8 guys healthy all season long and have them at peak condition going into the postseason? Because that's not been the case the last couple of years. They've had a big name or two that have not been available to them for the postseason, and it's kept them, frankly, from getting to the Western Conference Finals. My biggest question is, can you keep your core healthy going to the postseason? Because I think if they can do that, the Utah Jazz can play on any floor with any club. So I think that's a huge question. The other thing is, I wonder how much this bench comes together, because I think, one of the interesting questions is, how good is the Jazz depth at this point? Rudy Gay is an interesting guy to me. This heel surgery, and everybody says, "Oh, it's no big deal. He's just going to be out a month or so."
It's no big deal.
Well,
What's the problem?
When you're 87 years old and you have heel surgery, it's kind of a big deal, right? So this is a guy that's a veteran. I think this is more a big deal than it's not a big deal. And I'm interested to see, how does Eric Paschall fit into the big man rotation? Is there going to be a young guy that's going to get significant minutes? I mean, is Trent Forrest a guy that you can see playing 20 minutes a night? Because I don't see that. So I look at Udoka Azubuike. I look at, Mia Oni. I look at Trent Forrest. I look at the young guys that you're trying to develop. And Jake, I don't know that I see one of those guys that's going to break into the rotation and get major minutes this year.
Yeah, and I think, to add to that, I think we all know that Quinn just is not real big on playing young guys in the regular season. He's not real big on giving guys like Elijah Hughes or Oni a ton of minutes, and I think, for Oni, I would guess that he would get some more minutes this year than he did last year, but still, that's not a lot of minutes overall, He typically comes in defensive purposes. So I just think overall, this Jazz season is going to be defined by the health of the starting 5 and whether or not Hassan Whiteside coming off the bench can be a force to be reckoned with, because that was a problem for the Jazz. When Rudy went off the floor, issues started to arise, and so can Hassan Whiteside beat the other team's secondary big coming off the bench? If he can do that consistently, the Jazz are going to win a lot of ball games. But I think overall, the bench on any NBA team has to be consistent. You got to be able to go to your bench and be able to pull, 10, 15 points, a night every time you bring that bench mob out. And that's what I think the Jazz are missing. You look at the Clippers, let's say, and we all know and love that bench. That bench comes in and produces. You look at the Suns, same thing, comes in and produces, gives you quality minutes. So that's one of the biggest things. If you're a Jazz fan, if I had to kind of put these in different sort of sections or bullet points on a piece of paper, the first one would be overall health of the team. Can the team stay healthy? How many games has Donovan missed this year? Is he just and are those games that he misses just rest games? Are those just load management games, or does he sustain a serious injury this year? That's number one. Then number 2, yes, bench performance. If you sustain injury, let's say Mike Conley does get hurt, can Jared Butler be a starter? And then can you backfill that? That remains to be seen. And on that point, is Quinn Snyder more willing to play more guys? Is he willing to play 8, 9 guys instead of 6 or 7 guys? That remains to be seen.
Wow.
So
that's a big one.
I think a lot of their injury issues came from the fact that they were tired. Joe Ingles, I love Joe, but the problem was he was tired because they ran his ass down. They ran him into the ground with how many minutes they played him. That can't happen this year. So overall, I just think that this team, I do agree that this team has the talent to play with anybody in the league. I don't think that there's a team in the league that the Jazz cannot hang with or beat, whether that's at Viv or on the road. I think they're that good. But I really do think that this season will be defined by Quinn Snyder's willingness to play guys that still have something to prove. And oftentimes when coaches do that, you get these great stories of guys coming off the bench and being a 6th man of the year when no one thought they could. So that's specifically what I look for in this team.
Well, I think Quinn Snyder, as you know, I'm a big Quinn Snyder fan. I haven't hid that at all. I think that he's got more weapons now. His hesitation has always been to play young guys. And I think if I were Quinn Snyder, I'd still be hesitant to play these young guys because Trent Forrest, I still maintain, is pretty limited. And I just don't see that Doak has a place on the floor right now on this team, especially, with what we saw out of Hassan Whiteside. I don't know why you would play Udoka Azubuike instead of Whiteside.
But like you look at Trent Forrest, that's a great example. The guy's
Mhm.
already hurt, right? The guy's already going through it. So
Yeah.
that's my point. Like, like how durable is this team? I mean, we've had commenters before in the past, and maybe someone already brought it up today, but in the past we've had people ask us, do we think that this team is a gritty team? Do we think that this team has toughness? And I say, yeah, they're probably a little light in that area. Guys like Trent Forrest are probably a bit soft, so we'll see.
Yeah, I find it fascinating, the whole Quinn Snyder conversation, because I think there's a large sect of Jazz fans that don't like Quinn Snyder, that frankly would rather have had Dennis Lindsey stay and Quinn Snyder go, which I think is absurd. I still maintain that Quinn Snyder is the right guy to lead this team. Now, if they fall flat on their face, Quinn's probably out of a job this year. But I think he has no problem with that. And I think if you look at the vets that are on this team, I mean, again, I think that Quinn Snyder's the right guy. What can he get out of Rudy Gobert? Because Rudy is going to be the make or break on this team. The defensive liability in the half court, especially in the postseason, is not going to go anywhere. Teams are still going to continue to do that. So the question is, does Hassan Whiteside fill that? Does Eric Paschall fill that? Does Rudy Gay fill that? Maybe to a certain extent. There was, a Jazz fan was tweeting the dunk yesterday that Terrence Mann had on Rudy Gobert. And I say that because every big man gets dunked on. Who cares? The issue is not Rudy Gobert at the rim. If you're going to challenge Rudy Gobert at the rim, I'm going to say thank you very much. Even when you score, I think you're doing Rudy Gobert a favor challenging him at the rim instead of exposing him on the perimeter.
Yes.
Because anytime Rudy's out of the paint or halfway to the corner, you're in a better place offensively.
Yeah, if you said to me, hey, to win a championship, you've got Rudy Gobert at the rim against the best dunker in the league, I'll take my chances.
Yeah,
Rudy,
I'll take Rudy every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they're still very good. When I look around the rest of the Western Conference, I think it's pretty interesting what's going on in Phoenix. I mean, I think Landry Shamet is a nice addition to that team. I think they're a better team than they were. Chris Paul's health is always going to be the deal. Water's wet. Chris Paul's hurt in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Both thumbs and excuses and your mom, we totally get it.
Right.
Right? Like, you were not good enough last year, Chris Paul, and you and Devin Booker combined struggled in the finals, and that's why the Suns didn't win a championship.
Yeah.
So I think that they're better than that now. I think Landry Shamet showed in Brooklyn that he's capable of scoring, and he's capable of being a guy that can get you a big bucket when it matters. And I think that was a nice pickup for them. I actually think the Phoenix Suns are doing the exact right thing on DeAndre Ayton. I am not an Ayton fan. We've talked about that a lot. I think his offensive upside is incredible, but he's not a strong physical player. He is soft as butter. The guy just is not somebody that wants to bang.
Yeah.
You can get him physically. He'd much rather shoot a jump shot than go shoulder to shoulder for a layup. And in this league, bigs need to be able to bang. And DeAndre Ayton's not a guy that wants to go after it and get it, Jake. So I'm actually okay with what they did with him.
Yeah, I think the only question that remains in Phoenix with the Ayton situation is, let's say that you do let him go into free agency and he's no longer a Phoenix Sun. What are you doing to backfill that? Because the truth is, I do agree that he is soft as a player.
Yes.
But the fact is he made a ton of plays to get you to where you were. I mean, the Jay Crowder alley-oop to DeAndre Ayton to win that game is one of the greatest plays in postseason history in recent times.
I would absolutely agree with that.
So it's like it's this hard thing that with Ayton that I feel like, okay, yes, this guy can really play basketball and he can really get the job done for you. But at the same time, when you needed him most, when you needed him to beat up Giannis, when you needed him to get into the nitty-gritty against the Bucks to win a championship, he didn't get the job done. And so the only question that really remains is, being that he wants a max and you're not willing to pay him a max, who are you backfilling DeAndre Ayton with when the time comes? That's a huge question. And by the way, when contract conversations are looming over a team, that's usually not good news, as we're seeing with, like the Ben Simmons situation or any of these other awkward situations. Just add Ayton to that list. It's just not ideal That's the thing. It's not ideal. And by the way, it's really hard to get to the finals 2 years in a row unless your name is LeBron James. So I would also say that about Phoenix.
Well, I think one of the things that's really interesting, too, is the Denver Nuggets situation. With Michael Porter Jr. not being vaccinated and likely not going to be available for a lot of games, the Denver Nuggets are not nearly as lethal as they are with him. And what MPJ shows you is, one, he's valuable. They give him a massive extension. Two, without, Murray there, he actually did a really nice job of shooting the three, getting to the basket, creating offense. Like, he is a very, very good player, and he's not vaccinated.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about Nick Rolovich coming up in a minute. And here's the problem with the vaccine debate in the NBA and in sports in general. It creates a divide. It puts a line down the middle of your locker room, and guys are on one side or the other. And I think you're seeing in Brooklyn that just about everybody's on the other side of the line from Kyrie Irving. And it's starting to sound like it because in Denver, because Michael Porter Jr. said the other day, I'm just waiting for more research to come out. He's using the research excuse, which has been, obviously roundly panned. He claims that he needs more scientific data.
I think that's HIPAA.
I mean, it's crazy to me that we are still going through this. And he says that he will not get vaccinated until there's years and years and years of data.
Well, then he's not going to play in the NBA. I mean, I just think that is it. And I want to be really, really clear on this too. Like, this is not a, hey, do we think vaccines are good or bad or otherwise, right? That's not the conversation that's being had in the NBA. I can assure you of that. The conversation being had in NBA locker rooms is, hey, man, we're a team, right? Like, I didn't necessarily want to get the vaccine, but I did for the sake of the team. Why are you not getting the vaccine? Why are you not getting the shot? We need you. That's the conversation that's happening. And that's why you see the Nets situation go down the way it did with Kyrie, because what do we have in that situation? And I think this is really important. Kyrie Irving told the owner of the Nets that he was going to get vaccinated.
I'll take care of it. It's not going to be an issue.
But yet here we are. And so I think a lot of leadership, like a lot of executives, owners, GMs, head of player personnel, those kind of guys are taking notes on the Kyrie Irving situation and saying, hey, if we have, a vaccine guy on our team, if we have that kind of situation going down, we're not playing any games with that. And so that's why I say, I think you make a great point. If Michael Porter Jr. is not playing for the Denver Nuggets the majority of the time, they're a completely different team, let alone the Jamal Murray ACL situation.
Well, think about where he can't play. He can't play any games in California.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot play any games in New York, so he can't play the Knicks or the Nets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, those are a lot, like the Clippers, the Lakers, the Warriors. Those are all the top teams in the Western Conference.
Yes.
And you start realizing that he can't play against the top teams in the Eastern Conference. Like, he's going to miss some really important games on the road.
The question really needs to be asked, when can he play? That's the question that has to be asked, because more and more it seems like every day there's an update about, this random ass state just put out a vaccine, mandate or whatever, saying that you can't be inside, or we all hear it in the news, right? So what I'm getting at, and what we're getting at here, is that the vaccine situation in the league for 95% of the players is not an issue. Most of the guys are vaccinated, and this isn't a problem. But there are a couple, top flight players who are not, and that's going to cause issues.
Bradley Beal, Kyrie Irving, and Michael Porter Jr. are the three biggest names. And so my question is, the thing that is amazing to me, my question is, where is any of the data that suggests there's an issue with the vaccine?
Yeah.
And this is the ultimate debate. We've seen no real hard numbers, and the vaccine is by some accounts the most studied medical supplement in the history of the world at this point. And there have been essentially, especially with the Pfizer vaccine, there have been no side effects seen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's remarkable to me that we still, when there's this much money on the line, we're still having this conversation.
And that's the other fascinating thing, too. That's the other, fascinating thing, like with Ben Simmons. Why do you guys think Ben Simmons was at Sixers practice yesterday? Yeah, because he didn't want to give up all that money, right? Now, he's not a vaccine situation, right?
Yeah.
That's a different kind of situation. But
That's
my
right.
point just is that with the vaccine thing, it's going to get to a point where you're going to start losing money and you're going to start losing respect and you're going to, frankly, get to a point where you're going to start losing your career. And these guys, I'm telling you, if you said to Michael Porter Jr., hey, dude, get vaccinated or you're never playing another NBA game again, I think he would reconsider his decision to not get vaccinated. I really do.
All right, let's get some of your comments. Edgar Garcia, good morning to you. He says, what's up, my boys? James Knight, good day, lads.
What up?
Rylark says, morning, boys. Old Rolovich out at Washington State and Big Ed O not returning to LSU. Could he be going to USC? Can we just stop Ed Ogeron back to USC? That was an abject failure when he was at SC. Like, we should just stop that now. You're not hiring Lane Kiffin. You're not hiring Urban Meyer. And you're not hiring Ed Ogeron at USC. Like, just stop with Ed O back. And not particularly to you, Bryce, but like so many people are like, oh, wow, I mean, no. He had his girlfriends running plays at practice. Do you understand that's part of the reason that coaches and players were so pissed at Ed Ogeron? He had his girlfriends bring their kids to practice, and the kids were running pass patterns with the LSU football team.
Bro.
Yeah, what are we doing? Ed Ogeron's not going back to USC.
No.
He's not. James Knight says Denver are sleepers, in my opinion. There's a lot of people who think that.
Well, I think they're a sleeper every year, but the fact is you can't get to you can't be the best team in the Western Conference at the end of the year come playoff time if Michael Porter Jr. hasn't played 90% of your games and Jamal Murray is
again. What's Jamal Murray going to be back coming off of a knee?
That's what I'm saying, dude. You don't know, and that's why this Michael Porter Jr. situation is an even bigger deal. I'm not trying to blow things out of proportion, but it would be one thing if the whole team was healthy, right? Even Will Barton's been dealing with some things. So like
as always,
like right. So that's why I say they perhaps more than any other team on the COVID situation list need their guy. Like they need him, and that's frankly why like his performance is how he got that extension. So now to know that he's not going to play most of his games is a problem. That's an issue.
Yeah, Brylark says, agree with James Knight. Nobody's talking about Denver, but they have a stacked team. They're going to give other teams problems. Yeah, you would think, all things being equal. Doc J. Ball for Filthy Casual.
Who the fuck are you?
Okay.
What kind of name is that?
Doc J. Ball for the Filthy Casual.
Okay.
I think that the change of training for Mike Conley will go a long way. Yoga is highly underrated for longevity and recovery. Also, I'd love to see a tighter defensive effort from the Jazz as a team. Well, Mike Conley can do yoga all he wants. The issue to me is not yoga. The issue to me is not dexterity and flexibility. The issue with Mike Conley is DNA. There are just some guys who get hurt. There are just some guys who wear street clothes more nights than they wear a uniform.
Yeah.
That's just who Mike Conley is. And I agree with Tony Jones of The Athletic. Don't play Mike Conley on back-to-backs. I mean, you have a guy in Jared Butler who's capable of doing the job.
Yeah.
Don't play Mike Conley on back-to-backs. Why would you? Right? Like, you have to treat this guy like he is absolutely fine china and just be careful.
You need him for the playoffs.
Spencer Morgan says Ogeron is not going to USC. LOL, exactly. Poor Rolovich. The guy's name is Poor Rolovich. Says go Jazz. Okay.
This is becoming a thing on the show, and I just want to point this out. I love that people are updating their names on YouTube based on the stories that are happening in sports. Like yesterday it was Dax Johnson.
No, Dax Johnson, that's his given name. Dax Johnson.
Bro.
He is here. He says, hey, Jake, has the teacher seen your Dax Johnson yet?
Bro, stop. I'm not, no.
What?
Nope.
And just kind of scruff it and play with it when it's wet.
No,
yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, scruff it and play with it when it's wet.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. He Dax.
Yeah, next question.
Yeah, you're going to have to settle down. There's no way, Spencer Morgan says, there's no way Snyder's rotation get bigger with Lindsey gone. No, that's not going to happen. That was a Dennis Lindsey thing, pushing him to play developmental guys. Yeah, I agree. He also says MPJ greater than Jamal Murray. Yeah, I think Michael Porter Jr. is really critical to the Denver Nuggets. And to have him be that anti-vax that he won't play or get vaccinated to play, there you go.
Yeah, please respect my privacy. Next question.
Jeremy Bolton says, love how Rolodick is calling religious exemption for the vaccine. Dude is a Catholic, and last time I checked, the Pope said to get vaccinated.
I really don't care if you think it's sus.
Did you? Yeah, right? That is totally sus. That is totally sus.
So out there, dude. Like, you're not a religious guy, dude. What are you doing? Like, just get vaccinated.
Never claim religious exemption in the past.
Bro.
Never.
Like, I just can't get down with these guys who are like, I'm converting to Islam in the middle of the season. I'm going to need 5 nights off. Like, what? What do you mean, Kyrie? What do you mean, dude?
There are just some guys who aren't worth it. And
I don't think the Nets need him to win a championship, but, you know.
Well, Kyrie is definitely one of them. But you look at certain guys, and you're just like, this is not worth it.
Cole Beasley.
Cole Beasley, not worth it. Nick Rolovich, not worth it. You're at Washington State, man. This ain't SC. Like, you're not worth it.
Yeah.
You're
not.
You're not worth it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a headache on a baseball team, Evander Kane in the NHL just got suspended 21 games for violating the NHL's COVID protocols. You're not worth it.
Yeah.
You're not worth it, man. Like,
and that's the difference, too. Like, I feel like in the NFL and in Major League Baseball, the teams are so much bigger, right? Like, in the NFL, you've got 50 guys standing on the sideline. Major League Baseball, you've got, like, 27 guys, I think it is now that they expanded the rosters to, plus the coaching staff. So you probably got, like, 40 people in the dugout, you know, that you hang out with on a daily basis. Dude, the NBA is, like, 20 people. It is a small, tight-knit community that you literally live with day in and
look
day
at
out.
the Arizona Cardinals.
Perfect example.
Best team in the NFL, ravaged by COVID right now.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's unbelievable.
And
GM,
they're
head
still
coach,
beating
players. Yeah, and they're still beating you, but it's because Baker sucks.
Yeah, he does.
But the point is, it's some guys just are not worth it. I mean, you can go up and down the list, and you know, I'm amazed by it.
Yeah.
Q Sam says Paul George will win the MVP. I've heard this quite a bit. A lot of people are on Paul George to win the MVP this year. Jake, what do you think?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think, you know, he has to definitively be the reason that they do something. You know, he has to be without a doubt the reason that they get to the finals or whatever. You know, like,
is Kawhi becoming injury
a little bit
plagued?
A little bit. Yep, a little bit.
I wonder how much the mileage on his legs. And this is my thing about the Lakers. I mean, I don't believe that the Lakers are old, but every one of their guys has a lot of mileage on the tires.
Yeah, and I think, again, like, whether it's the Jazz, the Lakers, you know, even the Nuggets with Jamal Murray, I would say, I'm telling you, injury prevention is just as important in winning a championship as X's and O's. It literally, it is the end-all, be-all.
James Knight says, I'm not sure Mike played too many back-to-backs last season, did he? He played enough. Like, the final injury came during the T-Wolves back-to-back.
Yes, in which you got your ass kicked both legs.
Yeah, Dax Johnson says, I'm sorry, I'll behave, but I've never seen anyone correlate a joke with Dak Prescott in my name. Love your show. It's what we do on this show.
Hey, man, that's just what it is, bro.
We get weird.
Yeah.
James Knight says, I'm betting these guys are vaccinated before Christmas. You would think so.
Like, how long do you hold? Because that's essentially, is it too strong to say, like, these guys that are choosing not to get vaccinated are essentially holding out? Is that harsh? Because I feel like that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I
mean,
you're right.
this is like Le'Veon Bell holding out for his contract. This is like any of these guys making a selfish ass decision to hold out, you know, and not play games until they get it the way they want it.
I just don't see the upside to it. Like, what is, somebody help me understand the win. Like, what is the win if you're any of these guys? Help me understand what the win is here, because I don't get it. I don't see in any way, shape, or form how this ends well for Michael Porter Jr. Because you're not going to play games, so you're not getting pension credit for playing games, right? You're not making the money on games that you're not playing because in the NBA they have a policy. If you are unvaccinated and you are not playing games, you're not getting paid for those games.
Yes.
So what's the upside for Michael Porter Jr.? You're not going to play on national TV because, again, you're not going to be playing against the biggest names. Oh, by the way, when you are on the road, not in New York or California, guess what? You're not allowed to leave the team hotel.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to go out to restaurants and dinner with the team because they're vaccinated and you're not.
You can't do anything.
Like, what is the upside here?
By the way, with Michael Porter Jr. and all these guys who are like, I got to do more research. Are you not some of the healthiest people on the planet? Are you not some of the most well-conditioned human beings that the world has to offer? Are you not like in the best shape of people of the top 1% of athletes in the world? Like, come on, dude. Like, it's not like I could kind of see it. Before it was FDA approved, before Pfizer was FDA approved, I could kind of get down with it. Like, okay, it's not 100% backed by the government yet. Like, we kind of had to rush this thing out. Like, okay, I get it. It's FDA approved now. There's no questioning it.
So many millions of people have taken the Pfizer vaccine.
What more do you need to see?
And there's really been no negative side effects. It hasn't killed anybody. This is not the blood clot vaccine, like, which they've now worked through. Like, vaccines work, and there really is no side effect known to man at this point.
Why would you put yourself through all the difficulty? That's the thing. Like, and I'm really glad we're staying away from like politicizing all this. I like that we're keeping this just like just very basic. Dude, if you don't take the vaccine, your career is literally going to burn
You're
down
damaging
for a
yourself.
season, like it is.
You're damaging yourself. There's no doubt
it
about
sucks.
it. Brylark says Nets gotta trade Kyrie. Have to.
Yeah.
Harden and Durant were better duo this past year. Well, again, they got to stay healthy. But yeah, I totally agree. You got to trade Kyrie. You have to trade Kyrie. Dax says, I may have missed it, but what's your prediction for the Jazz this season? Really pumped for the season to start. Yeah, me too. Jazz tip off tomorrow night.
Do you mean prediction like win total, where they're going to finish? I mean, I think
all of that. I think this feels like a 50-win team to me again.
Yeah.
50 to 55 wins because you're going to load manage.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I actually hope this team does not get home court advantage because I really want them to value health over wins. Just make the playoffs. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, finish 8th. I don't care. Right? I mean, I think as long as you stay out of the play-in tournament and you're in the playoffs, that's great. You know, like obviously at the end of the season, you're going to want to watch your matchups and stuff, but don't value getting the best record in the NBA because it usually does not mean much. I mean, you lost on your home floor last year. What does home court advantage really mean in today's NBA? I don't think it means that much.
Yeah.
So I want this team to be healthy. I would love to see this team, and I think they'll win 52 to 55 games. I think that you are looking at an MVP-type season for Donovan Mitchell. I think he won't win it because it's very tough to win it until you win something. So it'll be interesting to see if he can get into the MVP race, which I think on the floor quality-wise, he will as long as he stays healthy. But yeah, if all things remain equal, they win 52 to 55 games. I think that this is the year that they have the talent in the roster to really make a run toward the Western Conference Finals. And from there, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
It really is a crapshoot. I'm just going to say, I think the Brooklyn Nets are going to win the championship. I think that at some point, whatever happens with this Kyrie deal, he either gets vaccinated, and they're even saying if he gets vaccinated that he's broken the bond with his team, his ownership, his front office. Steve Nash apparently is frustrated with him.
Yeah.
I think they're going to move him no matter what. So my feeling is that would be good for them, and I think that they'll wind up winning a championship.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I think the biggest thing that you have to remember is look how far Kevin Durant, can take a team basically on his own against what ended up being, the championship team in the Bucks, right? I mean, you're talking about Kevin Durant being less than an inch away from beating them on a jump shot. So I think my point here is, yes, Kevin Durant's awesome and everything, but this team is just better than basically any team in the league when they're healthy. That again, I know we started the conversation off with health is paramount, and it really, really is, because when these teams are healthy, there's just no debating that they're better.
Yeah, it's interesting. Health is such an unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Health is so man to man. It's fast. It's always fascinated to me. It's whether any sport you play, there are just some guys who can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Let's get some more of your comments in here. Jeremy Bolton says, how about Evander Kane from the Sharks getting suspended 21 games for faking a COVID card?
Yeah, dude. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, Evander Kane has been a huge problem for many years. Many, many years. Eric and Raleigh says, top of the morning, gentlemen. Eric, good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, how was your summer break? I saw on Twitter that your literally your bio says back from summer break. So how'd that work out for you?
Yeah, I hope you're well. James Knight says, I'm not sure Mike played too many back-to-backs last year. Truth, let's see. James Knight says the eventual financial and social pressure will win out in the end. You would think so. Eric and Raleigh says, next man up. If they don't want the vaccine, they can get out of the way. Exactly.
Yeah, dude.
Eric C says they don't even watch Jazz games, though. Who are the Jazz? Like, oh, you mean like the instruments? Like a trumpet or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't.
So. A trombone?
Something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like Karl Malone's going to have a pretty good season this year.
Yeah.
But I heard he might retire after the season.
Darn.
We'll see. Eric and Raleigh says, I can't imagine why the Nets or any other team would want Kyrie and his headache issues. His head case issues, excuse me. Yeah, he's a pain in the ass.
Yes.
I mean, he wrecked Boston. He divided Cleveland. He's gone to Brooklyn now and wrecked and divided Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's pretty remarkable how high maintenance that guy is. Like,
where does the Kyrie train go next?
Yeah, I just I don't know. Eric C says, which bowl game are the Aztecs going to, Monty? Probably yourmom.com.
Bet you weren't expecting this one.
Yeah, I'm thinking it is the Poolin OnlyFans Bowl.
Just so you can go to Pound Town.
Shake your pyramid. It is what it is. I love the NBA.
Yeah.
I do. I don't have a favorite team. Two people have asked who my favorite team is. I grew up in Chicago. By the way, the Raging Bull is on the wall today. Air Jordan 5.
His Airness.
They call it the Toro. I'm a Bulls fan, I guess, if I was one team. But I'm more of a fan of players. I mean, I want to procreate with Devin Booker, preferably his girlfriend because she's hot. But I am more of my favorite player is Devin Booker by far. But I'm a casual observer. Obviously, I watch every Jazz game. So how do you not root for a team you watch every day? But I enjoy watching the Nets. I like the Lakers. I like watching the Lakers, especially when they lose. I'm interested to see how long LeBron can hang on and gravy train some money out of the Lakers.
Yeah.
He should retire soon. I'm interested to see how he does at the power forward in all seriousness. I'm just, I'm not a LeBron guy. Nope. I've never been a LeBron guy.
Nope.
I just think he's a really good player that just doesn't win enough for me. Like you're talking about and win enough. The guy's got multiple championships, which is all that should matter. But when you go to the finals as much as he has and you lose as much as he's lost,
70% of the time,
you can't be the best player to ever play the game. You just can't, especially when the other guy that you're compared to is undefeated.
In less opportunities.
So suck it. But other than that, I think again, the NBA has become a Western Conference league.
Yeah.
I think there are far more storylines in the West. I don't think the Bucks will repeat. I think Milwaukee, although Giannis with this jump shot now has been remarkably consistent.
Here's the thing that nobody wants to admit. Last year was a fluke year in the league. A lot of teams didn't have their full assembly of players. A lot of teams were, 50%, and so when I look at the path that the Bucks had to take, it really wasn't that difficult of a path. I mean, the toughest team that they ended up facing was the Suns. I mean, let's put that into perspective. Like the Nets series was definitely physical, but I felt like overall, toughest series was the Suns in the finals. And so I look at the Western Conference now and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
I'm telling you, the Warriors are going to come out and they're going to be a thing. I just firmly believe that. I feel like Klay has had 2 years, 2 full seasons of not playing to get his body into phenomenal shape and to really, do it the right way, which I think is crucial for comebacks. So, like, I would expect big things out of Klay Thompson this year, and I think Steph Curry's going to have another MVP level season. I just truly believe that. So, when they're the same team that they were when they won a championship. So, I'm telling you, don't forget about teams like that because they will make a lot of noise.
Yeah, and I wonder, who's going to be the emerging team in the East. I mean, are the Wizards any good? That's to be determined. I mean, they're going to be better without Russ, I think.
I think it's the Bulls. The Bulls are the emerging team. You add that talent, you do some things. They're definitely going to be a playoff team, no doubt about that.
All right. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Final win total for the Jazz this coming season.
53. I think it's 53.
I'll say 55.
Okay.
55. Do they win the Western Conference
No.
championship?
Oh, no. I don't think you win the Western Conference championship this year.
Do they go to the Western Conference finals?
I think that's a distinct possibility, yes. But I don't know. I have a tough time seeing them beating a fully healthy Lakers team, a fully healthy, Nuggets team, Clippers, the Suns, the Warriors. Like
the Warriors are one of the most fascinating unknowns in the NBA.
Yeah, and I'm just telling you, like, remember who we're talking about here. Organizationally speaking, we're talking about an organization that basically cultivated, 2 championships out of the draft, and then you added a third with KD, right? I think that's the setup. So, I mean, they revolutionized the league with Steph Curry. So if there was any organization that could take a guy who blew his ACL, then blew his Achilles in the ACL rehab and get him back to where he needs to be, it would be the Warriors. So that's why I say I just don't have any doubt that they're going to be back.
All right, cool. Let's talk Pac-12 football for a minute after we read some comments. Eric in Raleigh says, my summer off was good. I needed to take some time away from Twitter because I was getting down in the pit. Okay. Eric C says, just saying there's a reason why BYU isn't ranked and the Aztecs are. Stop with that.
San Diego State. Oh.
Eric?
Please.
Bro, it's San Diego State. It is what it is. You play in the Mountain West. You're literally playing your mom's knitting club every week. Like, seriously, you're like, how do you can't justify, oh, well, San Diego State's better than BYU.
No, they're not, dude. No, they're not.
You barely held on to beat a Utah team that BYU beat pretty handily. Right? Well, and I know you got a big win over Waxahachie, California Technical Institute of Flower Growing, but you're in the Mountain West.
It is what it is.
Craig Thompson's a cock, and it's the Mountain Least.
If you felt these balls,
settle down. And by the way, let's go get some burritos at Los Coyotes Cafe. James Knight says, what'd you guys make of Montrezl Harrell and Doncic? Luka Doncic is one of the most overrated players in the NBA.
Yeah, not a winner.
Not a winner. I know that's not popular. Jeremy Bolton says LeBron's about LeBron. Eric and Raleigh says it seemed Draymond might have his head on straight too, which is always good. I would agree with that. He's matured. Doc J says, I agree with Jake on the Bulls. I think if the Wizards can put it all together, they could make a 7-8 seed. Well, what about the Sixers, though? I mean, what do they wind up doing with Ben Simmons? And
you can't tell me he's not going to get traded, dude. Come on.
I think it's almost impossible to understand the landscape of the NBA until after the trade deadline.
Yeah. This is the Joe Ingles conversation.
Look at Avery Bradley getting released and then winds up back with the Lakers. I mean, yeah, where's Joe Ingles end up?
Who at this point, who's not a Laker? Can we
seriously,
dude?
Seriously. It's San Diego State's Cinderella year. We can feel it. Well, I don't think.
Yeah, I know what time it is.
Yeah, I think that's probably a crime if you're doing that in public. Jeremy Bolton says San Diego State did beat Bishop Sycamore this year. Well, and that's a quality win. Look at Jeremy Bolton pulling out Bishop Sycamore,
bro,
again. All right, that was my San Diego State bit, Eric says. Brylark says,
because it's garbage.
Extreme left turn. They haven't found Brian Laundrie yet. Is he dead, lying low, or in another country? No, he's chilling on Jeffrey Epstein's island.
And as you can see, I'm going through some shit right now.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Laundrie needs some time. Speaking of needing time, Nick Rolovich got that ass fired yesterday.
See you later.
So let's talk some Pac-12.
Mm-hmm.
Did Washington State do the right thing?
Yes.
Why?
Because Nick
Okay,
Rolovich
great. And
signed an agreement.
I thought you were going
saying-
to stop it because.
No, Nick Rolovich signed an agreement saying he'd get vaccinated. You didn't get vaccinated. All right, see you later. It's that simple. It doesn't. This conversation is not based on whether you think vaccines work or the politics behind vaccines or any of that. It's really, really simple. Vaccines, salary numbers, performance expectations. You signed an agreement and you did not hold up your end of the bargain, Kyrie Irving, Nick Rolovich, Michael Porter Jr. So no, I don't. Yes, I think they did the right thing, and no, I don't feel sorry for any of these guys. And the whole I got to do more research thing just doesn't fly with me either, because I agree with your point that you've always made, which is millions of people have gotten vaccinated. So did Washington State do the right thing? Absolutely, 100%. Twice on Sunday they did. And I think what nobody wants to talk about, including the players in that locker room, is by him not getting vaccinated, he's setting a really poor example. By the way, the head coach of your football team at a major university is a leader, like a leadership personality across the entire campus. Everybody knows who you are. So if you're not getting vaccinated, what about all the students? What about all the faculty? What about everybody else? So I think it's 100% the correct move.
All I know is there's been over 6.72 billion doses of the vaccine in 184 countries. And we're giving out 26 million doses a day. And we have not had any major deaths, side effects. Like, this is the thing I'm struggling with. And when you are an entity like Washington State, which has a vaccine mandate for all state employees, you know what it is. You're out. And he and 4 of his assistants at Washington State are now fired.
Yeah.
And I think it is very clear that one of the real problems for the especially early, it's not so much now because of the plethora of vaccines, but one of the real problems early was college campuses were super spreader sites. So there were a lot of colleges a year ago that were not in session. So I just don't think you can take the risk. And the thing that's amazing to me is we continue to see this fight going around the world. I just think when we're looking at vaccination rates globally and when you're looking at immunity around the world being 6 months away because you need 75% of the population.
Yeah.
It's people like Nick Rolovich that stand in between that, because Nick Rolovich has incredible influence over the kids he coaches. And you're talking about 150 to 175 kids at any given time that Nick Rolovich has, influence over.
Yeah.
I think this is the absolute right move. And it's not political. It just is what it is in Washington State. And I think if you are somebody that is not advocating for vaccines, I think you don't have information or the right information to be against vaccines, especially in a college atmosphere.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I absolutely think they did the right thing. Now, the timing sucks because you have football games to play and you're in the middle of a season and you're on a 3-game win streak.
But they were prepared. They knew this was coming. This has been a long, drawn-out process, so it's not as though they're, surprised.
But can you be prepared for your head coach and 4 assistants to be whacked?
Yes, because you knew that this was coming. This is not some surprise resignation. If they're not prepared, that's on them. I mean, that's just that's pretty straightforward, I feel like. I mean, how long have we been talking about Nick the Dick Rolovich? How long have we been, what has it been? At least a month now, right? Something like that. So you knew this whole time that he wasn't going to get vaccinated and he was trying to get an exemption. So if you're the AD of Washington State and you're not prepared with another candidate to come in behind him or some sort of interim situation or whatever the case may be, well, that's on you. That's a problem you're just going to have to deal with. But I don't know. I'd be kind of surprised if you've had a month to prepare, you finally fire the guy, and you don't have a plan to backstock it.
Yeah, you would think. I don't know. I think BYU, and we'll talk about the BYU Washington State matchup as the week goes on, but I think BYU's got to go up there and put their foot on their neck quick.
Yeah, and and we'll play a little bit more of this like later in the week, but I think Kalani is pissed. I think if you go on Twitter and you see what he said about basically BYU not being physical, not executing on defense, not like he basically low key criticized Harris LaChance for not playing and being hurt, and they need him back. Like he's not happy, and frankly. It's so funny how this works in college football when you have one team who is losing games that you can make a pretty good case that they should not be losing, and then you've got another team that just fired their head coach because of COVID situation. It just makes for one hell of a game. And I know Washington State is not a great team. I know that. I know it's not like they're playing the best team in the league, but you can't tell me that this isn't going to be a really entertaining game.
Yeah, going to Pullman's never easy, especially in October, and so it's going to be interesting. Best team in the Pac-12 is
Oregon.
Yeah, fuck off. See, why it was easy. This was easy for you today.
Oregon.
All you had to say was Utah Utes football.
Y'all about to fuck this up.
It was really easy, right?
Oregon.
God. Best team in the Pac-12, friends, is the Utah Utes.
No.
They are 3-0. The Utah defense and Cam Rising absolutely dominated ASU in the second half. I just think they're really good. And that defense, Devin Lloyd's got that defense together.
They're playing great football. That's just as simple as that. They are.
They're winning. When they're playing the way they're playing now, they won every phase in the second half.
I want to see them play Oregon. That's what I want. I want to see them go up against Verdell and stop Verdell. I want to see Devin Lloyd and that
Well, the problem is
defense.
isn't Verdell out for the year?
Is he?
Yes.
Oh, I must have missed that.
So, yeah, I mean, Oregon. Oregon is a good, not great football team. They've been that way all year.
Yeah.
And I think that Ohio State win was a bit of a fluke. I mean, you knew what was going to happen at Stanford.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I don't even think I don't think Oregon is better than ASU. I think Oregon's the third best team in the conference.
We'll
and
see.
I think Oregon is one of those teams that they're going to lose probably 2 or 3 of their last remaining 5-6 games here.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be very difficult for them. The problem with Oregon is they can play with anybody on the field in a game. They can.
Yes.
They can. They don't, though. And I think that the biggest issue is that I think that they have bad moments at bad times. They have bad moments.
Mm-hmm. And
so I actually like them. Now, I value them more than UCLA. I mean, it was disappointing to see UCLA fall apart.
Right.
I think I would go Utah 1, ASU 2, Oregon 3, UCLA 4, and then, a pile of crap after that. Because I don't know what else you even point to at that point.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I don't even know, what do you make of Oregon State at 4-2?
I think that they still have a lot of proving to do. I think the Pac-12 is full of brands who are having good seasons, but are small-time brands, so you're not sure what to expect. There's again, it's the reliability factor. I know that, hey, it's like being able to say Alabama lost the game, but then they came out and dominated Mississippi State or whatever to the tune of 50 points. So,
this is so typical of the Pac-12, though.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we get. I mean, this is
to have
Pac-12.
Oregon State and Utah.
You know
running
what I mean?
into each other this week is so typical based on where those two teams are.
And think about the national perspective and how people view the Pac-12 who don't watch Pac-12 football as much as we do on the West Coast. Like I guarantee you there are people saying, "Oh, it's Utah. They're nobody." Who's that program? The East Coast Big Ten fan or whatever is who's Utah? They're not good. USC's not good. All right, that means the Pac-12 is not doing anything this year. I guarantee you there are people like that.
Biggest disappointment in the Pac-12 this year is
USC all day.
No chance. Washington. I think Washington being a mediocre defense is shocking.
When did we start expecting great things out of Washington?
Well, I mean, they have the talent. I mean, this has been Jimmy Lake's a defensive guy. I mean, if you look at, Pete Kwiatkowski and Jimmy Lake together have made some really good defenses.
Yeah.
And they're just not very good this year.
Yeah,
I mean,
the term is irrelevant. I mean, that's just what they are. That is, and I was tweeting with some people about this. The truth is that the Pac-12 overall is largely irrelevant outside of like two teams. So I just think that I wish that UCLA and USC were better. That's what I wish. I wish that the California teams, specifically those two, were more reliable with their performance year in and year out, but they never seemingly are. What homer do we have in the comments?
Well, you are a homer. Tanner Plummer says, morning, Washington State did the right thing.
Yeah.
Brylark says, as a coach, how do you expect players to follow your rules when you won't follow the state rules? Truth.
Or when you bring your girlfriends to practice.
Yeah, there you go, Edo. Eric C. says, Brady Hoke to USC. Eric.
Please.
Man, he is.
His troll level is amazing.
Wow. What do you guys think the chances are that BYU Wazoo game is canceled?
Why would it be canceled?
Yeah, what did I miss? Why would that game be canceled? Tanner says, I've never seen Kalani this upset before. Oh, sure you have. Sure you have. I think, man, if you go back to, 3 years ago? 2018? 2017? That wreck of a season? Yeah, come on. Who are we kidding? He said 2017 season he was never this upset. I don't think, Brylark says, I don't think a game's canceled. I'm pretty sure it would be a forfeit. They wouldn't punish BYU. Why would Washington State cancel their game? What are you talking about?
Why is this a conversation? They're not canceling their game.
Yeah. Brylark says, okay, Monty, now you're smoking some hash. Oregon is by far the best team in the pack. No, they're not. They are not. I'm telling you they're not. Eric C. says, the Pac-12 is lucky San Diego State isn't in it. The Aztecs would be running this ish.
See, at this point, there's so much San Diego State shtick that he's just trolling people.
He can't stop.
Yeah.
Eric and Raleigh says Pac-12 is a 1AA league. Eric C. says Utah, boom. BYU shouldn't count their blessings. They don't have to play San Diego State. The blind swordsman Diaz says, morning, boys. Y'all ready for some basketball? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, we are, dude.
Giggity says, what religion did Rolovich try saying was anti-vax? Catholic.
Yeah, please respect my privacy. Next question.
It's his religion's HIPAA. Cam Harrison says, I enjoy Pac-12 football. I still think Oregon can win the Pac-12 in my opinion. Good morning, guys. Cam, good to see you.
Here's the thing with Oregon. This is what you have to remember. So they're the 10th team in the country, right? So they have the national ranking, but you've got some injuries now. Obviously, we were just discussing that Verdell's out. So I think Utah right now, here today, is playing the better football, but I think Oregon is still a damn good team. And that's why I say I think, and I'd have to check the schedule. I don't know. They're going to match up, obviously. But, when these two play each other, I that could definitely be for, the Pac-12. Like, legit. That could be for the conference. So, yeah, we'll see.
It'll be interesting, that's for sure. Tanner says there's news that some Wazoo players are thinking of boycotting the game. I haven't seen that at all.
Well, good. I hope they boycott it.
In fact, Jaden DeLora put a statement out on Twitter that said we're together and we're gonna show up and win games and show people how we do it. So if they're gonna forfeit, that tells you how divisive Nick Rolovich is, and he should have never been there in the first place.
Yeah.
I just don't see that. BYU's game is not canceled. Don't you see, Tanner? You come in here and you start talking about canceling games.
It's not the best situation, and we all know that.
All right.
Okay.
What else? We've got about 20 minutes.
Okay.
So do we go Trump and Epstein?
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about how Jeffrey Epstein was murdered.
Why? Why? See, you do this ish, and I can't even.
What?
Okay, so there's a new book out.
Yeah.
And the book is essentially saying that Jeffrey Epstein was going to flip on Donald Trump.
Yeah.
The book also says that Jeffrey Epstein believed that Donald Trump had him arrested so that Donald Trump could leverage Jeffrey Epstein to flip on Bill Clinton, who is known to have flown on Jeffrey Epstein's private jet multiple times, with the inference that Bill Clinton went to the island and, became a dirty, going to hell diddler.
I'm going to do that.
Which, again, I'm going to say it in a minute, so I'm not going to say it now.
I think that's HIPAA.
Jeffrey Epstein also believed that the feds had him arrested so that he could flip on Donald Trump. Like, A, if you're Jeffrey Epstein, who aren't you flipping on? And B, if you're the feds, are you really going to make a deal with the most notorious sex criminal in the history of this country?
Yes, because you're after bigger fish. Yeah.
There's a bigger fish than Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes. Yes.
So
world leaders.
If Donald Trump, if the feds pinched, and it would have to be the state. Like, are you telling me Donald Trump's own FBI was trying to flip Jeffrey Epstein to go against him?
It was state prosecutor. It was a mix of state prosecutors, and so basically this whole Trump-Clinton dynamic, right? So Trump had him arrested because he wanted to get dirt on Clinton, because Clinton obviously was on the plane a lot. But Epstein thought he could make a deal to avoid jail time by flipping on Trump, which Trump didn't want, which is why people think that homeboy got, taken care of in his prison cell.
Iced.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, where are you in life? Where are we in society?
Yeah.
Where are you in life, Bill Clinton?
Where are we at in society today?
Yeah, Bill Clinton, where are you in society today when you're so screwed because you're apparently on Jeffrey Epstein's plane, allegedly?
Yeah, was that a pun there? He's so screwed, or?
Okay, that could have been a pun. I'm just so naturally gifted.
Right.
But the point is, Bill Clinton, that's how powerful sex is over Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, you're the president of the United States, and there's a guy out there that can flip on you and end your existence. Like, this is the thing, and I always say this, so I'm sorry to be redundant. It's amazing to me that dudes with this kind of scratch, this kind of moolah, money, cash, lettuce, the juice,
the bread,
find themselves in this kind of trouble over sex.
What's an erection?
Like, dude, how? You got away with the Monica thing, the cigar smoking insertion thing.
Don't you know who I am?
And all of a sudden, you're on Jeffrey Epstein's plane? And if you're Donald Trump, how many times have you gotten away with how many things? And now, allegedly, you were involved with Jeffrey Epstein too?
Oh.
Like, if you're his mistress, Jeffrey Epstein's mistress, who's still in jail, are you not terrified that you're going to commit suicide?
No, you don't have to sweat bullets.
You didn't even notice what I said. If you are Jeffrey Epstein's mistress, are you not terrified that you're going to commit suicide?
As if it's not a choice, right?
Right? Like, no.
Yeah, guys, so sorry. So she's actually dead. The camera went off for about an hour.
She committed suicide.
And,
So now you're on my side that he was murdered.
What? You were not a Jeffrey Epstein murder guy. No, you are not.
No, I'm not at all. He committed suicide.
Douche.
I think he committed suicide. I do not believe he was murdered.
So get your facts straight.
I mean,
he was murdered, bro.
Okay.
All day.
Okay.
All day.
Make sure you hit subscribe and then comment on this. I mean, does it surprise you that so many powerful dudes wind up in trouble with sex?
No, because I think that it doesn't at all. I think that, your Bill Clintons and Donald Trumps and Tiger Woodses and Jeff Bezoses and Brett Favres and all these guys think
to be clear, Tiger Woods didn't get in trouble for sex. He just had a lot of sex.
He just ruined his entire freaking existence, right?
Did he though?
Yeah, he did. He did. And then he got in a car accident in his Lexus where he rolled it over 50 times.
Well, I don't think that had anything to do with the schwanz or having sex.
Well, whatever, dude. Whatever is whatever. Dude, the guy has a reputation problem because he wanted to have sex in the back of a van, not down by the river, but with a Perkins waitress behind the restaurant. So my point just is all these guys think that they're above it and they're not going to get in trouble or get caught or have their reputation damaged.
Here we go. Jeremy Bolton says, dude was killed dead.
Yep.
Timon Scott says, Epstein didn't kill himself, TM.
Yep.
Brylark says, I thought it was well known that Epstein was always a middleman who would blackmail powerful men for leverage by getting them to sleep with minors on film.
Yep.
Tanner says, nothing good comes out of associating with Epstein and draft dodging, Don.
Donnie.
Okay. James Knight says, Monty, don't bring up you know who in Jake's life. WTG, Jake, proud of you, dude. I believe that's a teacher reference. Oh boy, show about to get fun, Brylark said.
See, that's what this is what they're here for. He was murdered.
Brylark makes the best point.
What?
Epstein's a small fish, which is terrifying.
Yes, he is. He is. He is not
So
a big fish.
do you really think Donald Trump flew to his island and diddled
Yes.
people?
Yes.
So in your opinion, Donald Trump
was part of it. Bill Clinton was part of it. A bunch of people were part of it. And I think what it was, honest to God, I think what it was is it was a cool kids club. And I think that Epstein was the guy facilitating the whole thing, which ended up meaning he was the guy of leverage and the guy that ultimately paid the price with his life because guys like Donald Trump and or Bill Clinton, depending on what you believe, didn't want to get outed. So what did they do? They took care of it.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Ace's wife is now who is
Oh boy.
Ace.
Yeah, this is a prime Ace topic right here.
Yeah. You should watch your mouth. You don't know who's listening. Jeffrey Epstein is just the head of the snake.
Okay,
Do you buy into that?
Head of the snake meaning what, dude?
Meaning that there are others out there, that his organization continues.
Oh, I'm sure.
No, stop.
I'm sure that there are, dude. Here's the thing, and obviously there's a line with all this stuff. You know, the line of like, "Hey, you're crazy" versus what's realistic. You can't tell me there are not more Jeffrey Epsteins operating in the world. I can't get down with that. There is too much money to be made. There's too much life to live for people to not do bad things.
I don't know about that. By the way, go ahead and give us a thumbs up on this show right here that you're watching. It really helps the channel grow. And again, make sure you hit subscribe because we're giving away this Xbox Series S at 3,000 subs. Appreciate you guys being here and following the show. So, do you believe this book?
Yes.
You believe that? So you believe that Donald Trump and Bill Clinton were essentially locked in a death match over who was going to flip Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, well, no, so here's the thing. I think that what makes sense to me, again, this is my opinion. I don't have anything behind this, but just based on everything that we see, you know, books and news articles and everything that comes out, what makes sense to me is there was a whole group of people, and Donald Trump and Bill Clinton were involved in that group, right? Who were going to this island and doing shady stuff to underage women. Like, I don't have any doubt about that. But I think the issue is that, yeah, when you are as high profile as those two are, you're not going to let Jeffrey Epstein ruin your life. You really think Bill Clinton wants to go to prison for his retirement? I don't think so, sir. So, you know, do you really think that Donald Trump wanted to lose his presidency over Jeffrey Epstein? Don't think so, sir.
Former Prime Minister, Israeli Prime Minister. This is crazy, too.
Yeah.
Former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak was a frequent guest, almost a fixture, at convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's mansion in New York before Epstein's death in 2019, according to a new book. The book called Too Famous, The Rich, the Powerful, the Wishful, the Damned, the Notorious, 20 years of columns, essays, and reporting will be released today, and claims that Barak worked hard to rehabilitate Epstein's image following a Miami Herald story in 2017 that broke the allegations of rape, molestation, and sex trafficking.
Yep.
Like, this guy was connected.
Yes.
Connected.
Dude. Yes.
That's an Israeli prime minister.
And you know how all this starts, right? It's
How?
literally Epstein. In the beginning, I would guess that Epstein was somebody's assistant, or like he was a small timer. And what happens is you start putting him in front of more people, and he's just too good at talking to people. So one thing gets put together after another, and all of a sudden, he's one of the most connected people in the world.
And then there is the bagman for Donald Trump, Steve Bannon, who is also
The
caught up
bag man.
who is also caught up in this story.
Yeah.
According to a report from an insider, former Donald Trump advisor Steve Bannon had multiple conversations with billionaire child sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, where he admitted that during the run-up to the 2016 election, he feared Epstein would run to the press with stories about Donald Trump. According to this book, which will be released today, Epstein believed he could bargain his way out of criminal charges by investigators by turning over information on both Donald Trump and former President Bill Clinton.
Yes.
Epstein believed the Justice Department had arrested him under the instructions of then-President Trump because they wanted information on Clinton, who had flown on his private jet multiple times.
Yeah.
The White House, though, through the Justice Department, was looking to press longtime Republican obsession and Trump ace in the hole and get Epstein to flip and reveal the sex secrets of Bill Clinton. Trump, if he was obsessed with Clinton, which he was also obsessed with Epstein and what Epstein knew about Bill Clinton.
Yes. So not only was Trump concerned about his own skin, he wanted to get Clinton in trouble.
Oh, no. There's more.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
That's what I'm
there's
saying.
more.
This just keeps going.
In the book, it is alleged that then-President Donald Trump's narcissistic qualities made him believe that Epstein would never release information on him. In his book, the author also recalls a phone call between Steve Bannon, who is currently being pressed by the House Select Committee to testify on January 6th insurrection. Bannon speaking to Epstein and admitting he feared what others' secrets the jet-setting financier might expose. It is very clear that Steve Bannon believed that Jeffrey Epstein was ready to let loose on then President-elect Donald Trump.
That's what I'm saying.
Jesus.
That's what I'm saying.
Steve Bannon reportedly called Epstein on the phone and told him that he had feared him during Donald Trump's presidential campaign because he thought the financier knew secrets about Trump. You were the only person I was afraid of during the campaign, Bannon told Epstein. As well, you should have been, Epstein said to Bannon. I was ready to go.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What did Jeffrey...
That's why I'm saying.
Now, here's the other question. Where did this information go? Because you can't tell me it just went, poof, he's dead, it's all gone.
Yeah, you can't tell me somebody else doesn't know.
And Ghislaine Maxwell, his mistress, facilitator,
What is
alleged...
her nickname?
I can't remember.
They call her something. I can't remember what it was. It's like G something. G-Max.
G-Max, okay, sure.
I'm pretty sure it's G-Max they call her.
Ghislaine Maxwell's brother talks family in groundbreaking interview with the New York Post.
I'm telling you, all of this stuff is coming out, dude.
I don't know what you do here.
That's what I'm saying. Are you really telling me, if you're Donald Trump right now, that not only are you struggling financially by presidential standards, right? Obviously he's fine, but like by presidential standards, you're struggling. You have all this stuff coming out, and you think that you're not in trouble? You think that there's no risk for you? Come on, dude.
She has been in jail for 471 days in New York after being arrested in July of 2020. Ghislaine, the former lover of billionaire pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, will face 6 charges at her trial, including sex trafficking, conspiracy, and sex trafficking of minors.
Oh.
There are still concerns in the New York social circles and scene about what information Ghislaine Maxwell may have retained and about who.
Come on. She knows.
Oh, my God.
She knows.
You're done. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
You're done.
Her life is not long.
You're done.
Yeah, she will die.
You're done. Like, I mean, if you're Donald Trump,
I'm telling you, this is mob level stuff, dude. This is like...
I want to know who's got the doll and is sticking the pins in the Donald Trump
right?
doll. Because this guy's in trouble with everybody. He owes everybody money. His company now has to sell this hotel. Did you hear this?
No.
That they're selling the Trump International Hotel in Washington, D.C.
Oh, what a shame.
Because it's no longer making them money because he's not president. So they have to sell it. Like, I mean, he is by some accounts in financial ruin. And now he's got Jeffrey Epstein's former mistress, lover, facilitator hanging over his head.
Yes.
This book is going to be bananas.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like,
Absolutely
like
bananas.
People will die.
How did this guy get to? Donald Trump was president of the United States, man. Like, how did he get here? This is ridiculous. I don't even.
This is what happens when you play with bad people.
I don't even know what you do.
Yeah.
Prime ace topic, Eric C says. Yes, it is. Eric C. For those of you who don't know who Ace has been banned by YouTube multiple times, so he can no longer comment on YouTube.
And as you can see, I'm going through some shit right now.
And so then apparently he got whacked by Instagram, so now his Instagram is something about his wife, and he only sends messages in vanishing mode. Which is so annoying. Anyway, Jeremy Bolton says Driftwood was off his rocker like 99% of the time. He was pretty passionate.
These are the legends of the show.
Giggity says if Donnie wasn't on that plane to the island, for sure his sons were. God, Eric is so creepy. Eric and Raleigh says the requirement to run for office is narcissism and sociopathy. Of course, Epstein's organization continues. You guys really believe it's still happening?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Jeremy Bolton says, Eric C says, is that an Australian saying, JB? I don't know. What's an Australian saying?
JB. Who's JB?
Jeremy Bolton.
Oh.
Dude was killed dead. I don't know what Jeremy Bolton said. Do you guys think Jeffrey Epstein is still alive? No, I think
that's also a thing. I don't. He's dead.
Shut up. People think he's
yes.
Still,
people think that he's still alive. And
dude, him and Tupac are hanging out somewhere.
Yeah. Again. Yeah. Maybe on his island.
Stop with that. Come on.
No,
come on.
I personally think he's dead.
Come on.
But I do think he was whacked.
Come on.
Yeah, I think he was whacked.
Come on.
Yeah, dude.
And then speaking of whacked, you spent $3,000 on a computer yesterday.
Yeah.
Not because you needed to.
Yeah.
But because you can.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to.
The Apple launch event for the new AirPods and the MacBook Pros was yesterday.
Yeah.
The new MacBook Pro is
fire.
I mean, I'm erect.
Fire, dude. So
it's amazing.
So we updated our camera equipment on this show to shoot it in 4K so people could watch in 4K if they had the capability.
Yes.
So now what that means is that every time I'm exporting a video on my handy dandy MacBook Pro here that's 4 years old, it takes like 20 minutes to export it. And it's a very slow and methodical plotting process. So I was like, okay. You pinged me at work yesterday and you're like, hey, dude, you see the new MacBook Pro? You see what this thing's doing? And I was like, no, what's it doing?
Pimp juice, bro.
And yeah, so let's see. Let me go out and pull the specs up here.
It's amazing. This thing,
see what I got here.
They are using a new chip. So here, this chip, this
M1 Max.
This M1 Max chip,
yeah,
basically allows you to work with the power of 3 full computers in a MacBook, environment.
Yeah.
And use a quarter of the battery power because the chip is so efficient and powerful that it doesn't use battery life. It does not require long, consistent fan usage. And it just processes information
much faster.
And it's because Apple now has their own silica system. They basically make their own chips. And it's amazing.
Yeah.
This chip. It powers, yes, go ahead.
Well, so I got that chip, the M1 Max, but then I also got a terabyte of storage for this computer. Just
terabyte.
In case. And then it's got like 4 Thunderbolt ports. It's got the HDMI port that's back. It's got the big boy SD card slot that's back.
Big boy SD
yeah, not the
card
mini
slot.
one, the big boy. So yeah, I mean it's awesome, dude. Like I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna get. Unfortunately, the trade-in program for MacBooks is not a thing right now, I guess. It was a couple months ago, but they're not doing it for the newer models. So basically, I had to buy the MacBook, but then I can send my current MacBook back in.
Okay, well, this part I hate.
And I'll get like $560 for it or something like that. So the problem is, though, is that that's just Apple credit. It's not actual money, which I don't love. But, hey, the new iPhone will come out at some point, right? So whatever. It's fine.
I think it is. I think what's really interesting is there's sheep like you all over the Apple universe.
Yeah, I know. I'm a sheep.
I'm totally a sheep, too.
Hey, man, I'm a computer guy. I use my computer every day. Cut video with it all the time.
So I got a new Apple phone, an iPhone.
Yeah.
I got new AirPods.
Yeah.
And I got a new Apple Watch.
Oh, you did get the new Apple Watch.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So life is good. Life is good. And I'm a huge Apple guy. I don't need the MacBook. You're the guy that does the audio and the video here. I do the audio. You do the video. You're the one that needs it.
Yeah.
Hold the goddamn phone. If we had a Growcock sighting.
No, we have not had a Growcock
sighting.
sighting.
Did I miss? Was Growcock in here? Growing his? No. No, I don't think so. I don't think we've had one. Giggity, before talking about Jake's dating life, you should drop a line from Van Halen's song Hot for Teacher. There you go. Jeremy Bolton says Growcock took his Xbox and ran.
Yeah, he really did. He really did. Man,
I'm happy for the
fine.
kid, man.
It's fine. He's still subscribed.
You guys all voted for him, not me.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
You know.
He stole the election, not us. Come on.
It's fine. It's fine. By the way, how's your workout yesterday?
Oh, it was really good. You know, the rest day really treated me well. I slept great last night. Everything was awesome.
I did something in my trap.
Okay,
here.
so here's where we differ just a touch.
Yes.
You want to work out every day.
I want to do something
for
every day.
literally every day.
Right, 7 days a week.
And I'm saying that you need 1 day a week where you just feed your body and let it rest.
I think you need 1 day every couple of weeks. I think
wow.
that, like yesterday, all I did was I have a little workout set up in my basement. I have like a Bowflex, a Peloton, some really lightweight, couple of yoga balls. So I used my foam roller and did some leg lifts. Used my Bosu and did some hamstring extensions. Sat on my yoga ball with some 5-pound dumbbells and tweaked my trap.
Yeah.
So today's overhead press is going to be not fun.
Yeah, should probably drink water.
Yeah, I probably should. I probably should. Yeah, no kidding. Nick's Chubb has a strain.
Yeah, it's the Browns are disappointing, dude. One of the most disappointing teams in the league this year.
The eclectic redhead, hey baby, says I like I like AirPods Max.
Yeah, okay. I just don't know why they call them AirPods at that point because they're technically headphones. They're like over the ear.
They're interesting. Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, why are you calling them AirPods?
They're over the ear. That's
they
the
look
thing.
like Beats Pros.
Yeah, that's exactly what they look like.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's weird.
Jeremy Bolton says Monty pulled his Nick Chubb. I did.
Yep.
I did.
Yep.
Yeah, it's weird, but I'll tell you, the greatest invention ever, massage gun. That thing is.
It works. It matters.
Amazing.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I agree. You should probably play the music.
Okay.
I don't know. Jeff wants to know when we're getting Mrs. Monty on the show.
Not today because she's got unlaced pollen Jordan 1 sitting on the floor and she's on a call. So
she's a hot mess.
Yeah, I mean she's got stuff everywhere. She's got shoe horns on her desk. She's got, it is.
Any dating update?
No, I'm seeing the teacher Friday. Yeah.
So you're not out hunting anymore?
I'm not hunting aggressively. No.
Okay.
Not yet. We'll see how the teacher plays out.
Did you guys talk? Did you guys talk yesterday?
Yeah, a little bit. We don't text a ton. So she's not a huge texter. She's much more of the talk, FaceTime kind of thing. So we'll text a little bit, but not to the point where we're texting all day or anything.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But no, things are in a good place. We're just this week last week she had days off, so she could see me more. She had more time. This week she works full week, so it's Friday night.
All right.
By the way, that's the update.
By the way, 5 weeks away from Maui.
I know. Got to put the PTO in.
5 weeks away from Maui.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
The eclectic redhead says, yeah, they shouldn't call them AirPods. No, they shouldn't.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not an AirPod. They're headphones.
You gonna play the music or what?
Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, got it. My bad. Sorry.
Can you do your job?
No, this MacBook Pro is incompetent now.
AirPods. I agree. They shouldn't call them AirPods. Eric and Raleigh says, bye, Jake.
Bye.
Okay, that feels awkward.
No, he's saying because that's what we always say to end the show. Bye, Jake.
Okay.
Say goodbye, Jake.
My
See what he did there.
All right, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.